Hi there, welcome to the GitHub Campus Experts Training. I'm Joe Nash, Student Program Manager at GitHub. You're hopefully here because you want to enrich the technology community on your campus, building a place for students to learn and support each other on their paths to becoming professional software developers. During this training, you will learn skills that are key to designing and building a successful community and to becoming a technology leader. Before we can build a community, we need to understand what a community is. What does a community look like, and how do I find one or know if I'm already part of one? These are hard questions to answer because community means different things to different people, and communities can take many different forms. For example, I'm a member of two groups that I consider to be communities. Those are Hackathon Hackers Europe, a group for European Hackathon attendees, and a group of friends who I play Dungeons & Dragons online with via Discord. There are probably examples on your campus that you are familiar with, such as a computer science club or another special interest group. What makes these gatherings of people community? The people in these groups all share an interest or an environment and come together to share that interest. Hackathon Hackers Europe is a group of people who really love hackathons, and we're all in Europe. Your local computer science club is made up of students interested in CS on your campus. These are groups that have a shared interest or a shared environment. The members all care about a given topic or all reside in proximity to one another. A shared interest or environment can be a really easy way to start a community, but it's not always enough to build a successful community. Many communities based solely on a shared interest or environment drift apart over time, struggling to engage new members and to gain traction. So why is it that shared interests and environments aren't enough to create a successful community? To answer that, we need to think about what members look to get from a community. What is it that the community members are looking for, and what's going to bring them back to that community every day? Thinking back to our earlier examples of communities, you might know communities that organise events such as meetups and hackathons, or create something, such as a community blog or an open source project. These activities are a great way for your community to manifest, but no one joins a community just to do community things, right? Why are they doing these activities? They're looking to get something out of them. For many people, this is solving a problem. You go to a meetup to learn, you go to a hackathon to build something, you contribute to an open source project to fix a bug that's affecting you. For students especially, there are certain things we know are top priorities. Getting the skills you want, getting the grade you want, and getting the job you want. So people want to solve their problems and meet their goals. How does this help you design a successful community? The clue is in the problem. A common element of successful communities is not liking the same thing or being in the same space, it's having the same problem. Feeling a shared pain. In other words, it's having a shared struggle. To build a successful community, you need to identify the problem that is or will bring your members together and give them a mission. Calling back to the earlier examples of communities that I am part of, Hackathon Hackers Europe became a successful group not because we were like hackathons or because we're all in Europe, but because it was addressing the problem of a lack of student hackathons in Europe. The members shared a struggle of wanting to attend hackathons but being unable to. A shared struggle gives a mission and a sense of urgency to overcome it, giving members a clear path to contribute to the community. In this case, the problem was no hackathons in Europe, so the solution was to make more hackathons happen, through organising them themselves and helping others learn why hackathons are useful. This gives the members of the community a very clear and easy way to get involved. Just tell someone in your school about why you love hackathons. In contrast, many computer science clubs have difficulties for lack of a shared struggle. A computer science club at a school is based on a combination of shared environment and shared interest. You're all into computer science and you're all in the same place. But you don't all have the same problems or want the same things. Some members may want to be part of the club to get help with their assignments. Some members may want to socialise with other computer scientists. Some members may want to overcome bias in industry where they feel they're not represented. This results in competing interests and makes it very unclear how new members can participate. Take a moment now to think about communities around you and what shared struggles their members might have. What problems are they working together to overcome, and how do they help each other overcome that problem? Every community changes over time. Members will come and go, especially amongst the people who lead the community. As a student community builder, you have a huge advantage. You know when your members will leave and you know when they will arrive. The academic year is strongly seasonal. For example, in the UK, students usually start university in September and have exams in the spring. How does this help you in your community? Well, an inevitable part of your journey will be to leave your university. When you leave, what happens to your community? Does it just stop? Do you keep running it from outside your school forever? No, most likely someone else will take the reins, and this is what we want. You've identified a problem that students experience and found a way to help them overcome it. This is a valuable resource that you want to leave behind for future students and future campus experts. Now we're going to talk about how you can get your community ready for what happens after you. There are a couple of key strategies here that will ensure you engage your members, create future leaders, and get help during your time as a leader. Let's start with agency. Whenever a problem arises, there'll be a huge temptation or feeling that you have to do everything yourself. You have to solve this problem, you have to organise that event, you have to give that talk. This isn't the case. Every problem is an opportunity to make space for someone else in your community. It's an opportunity to help someone else rise up and be recognised for their contributions. As you build your community, you should look for these chances to leave some work undone or space unfilled and highlight that space for the community and be there to help someone fill that space. Recording an example from Hackathon Hackers Europe, as more hackathons started to appear, it became clear that the community needed a calendar in order to coordinate our events. The temptation would be for the community leaders to create and run that calendar, deciding what did and didn't go into it. But it was a great opportunity for community members to take on a project that they believed in, and in doing that, the people who ran that calendar became core holders of vital knowledge, when and where the next hackathons would be. They became respected in the community and were praised for their work. Secondly, let's talk about mission. A strong community is founded on a shared struggle, a problem that all of your members face. One of the greatest difficulties that a community can face is losing sight of their shared struggle. As time goes on, memory of the founding mission can be diluted, which means these diverging interests that muddy the pool start to emerge. These aren't always negative. Subgroups are a useful and necessary part of any community, but they can in some cases be a symptom of something worse. Before you leave, you should make sure that the founding vision and mission of the community is clear and accessible. That isn't to say it's unchanging. Your communities will need to evolve over time, but it's hard to improve what you can't see. Record your community mission in a document, such as a founding charter, that every member has access to. Make sure this is explained and made available to new leadership. Finally, let's talk about structure. There are many different ways to structure a community. Some schools actually support student clubs with things like student unions that mandate elections and elected roles. As a community leader, you should think about the future in the structure you choose. You might have an idea of a clear successor, so elections might feel unnecessary right now. But what happens in 2 or 3 years? Will a successor be as clear for that leader then? However you decide to convey leadership, an important element is handovers. Here is where we can combine some of what we've learned: the academic year and making space. You know when new students start and you know when you leave. What happens in between those two events that helps you build new leaders? What opportunities can you give growing leaders to learn? What events can you let them experiment with? Some of the most successful student communities practice organised event handovers, for example. An outgoing committee will organise a hackathon in the fall and then mentor an incoming committee in organising one in the spring. The core principle here is not to leave new students to work it out themselves. You have ample time to nurture and support their growth. Now it's time for you to think about your community. What shared struggles will you address? How will you make space for your members and structure your community to be successful in the future? Take some time to work through the assessment and design a community that will work for your members.